Hallo und herzlich willkommen. Today I'm going to tell you why GCSE German is a really good option for you to take for next year. So why do we learn German? Okay, there are lots and lots of different reasons and it will be different for different people. But I'm just going to go through a few of them now for you. Educationally, we need more linguists in this country. We need more people to be able to speak languages because that is still quite rare. And particularly German, because GCSE and A-level German numbers have become a lot lower over the last 20 years, and it's become rarer and rarer for people to have GCSE and A-level German. And that means the people who do have those qualifications are more in demand and are seen as really special. It's really good in order to be able to apply to certain companies and to apply for university, to have this on your CV. I have put a picture of my university, Leicester, on this slide, just as a bit of a sad thing really, because so few people do study German at A-level and at university in this country that my department that I was in for 8 years in Leicester has now closed. So they don't do German in Leicester anymore because they need more people to actually go and study it, and that is why we really need lots and lots of people to choose German in order to carry it on, and it is very much in demand. Okay, so 120 million people speak German as their native language. German is spoken in lots of countries, not just in Germany, and there's a little list of them there for you. It's really interesting to know that twice as many people speak German in Europe than any other language because of how big the populations are in those countries, or in some of those countries anyway. Okay, and after English, German is the most popular foreign language to learn in Europe, so for other countries as well. Mit Deutsch kann man mit 100 Millionen Menschen in Europa sprechen. Okay, so that is really, really important to know that there are lots and lots of reasons to learn German, and one of them is so that you can talk to all these different people all over Europe. So another reason, it's a big global economy, Germany. It's a very rich country. The people who live there have a high standard of living, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. You've got Switzerland and Austria and Luxembourg as well, who also have very high standards of living. So it has a lot of economic and political influence in Europe. It's a big country. It has a lot of power. Okay, so that is a very good thing. Germany has some of the highest paid workers in the world. So if any of you ever go and work in Germany, then you know it's possible to earn a lot of money there, and certainly in Austria and Switzerland as well. Okay. Another reason for why German is a good thing to learn for business. There are lots of countries that you might know that are German, and we do tend to deal with those in our companies here, and some people like to go and work for them abroad as well. So, I mean, we've got the shops like Lidl and Aldi, you've got the car companies like BMW and Audi, and you've got sports brands like Adidas and Puma and places like that, and those kind of companies, all German. There's Siemens, there's a lot of engineering companies and firms that are really big. And even engineering firms in this country tend to have big links with the German engineering firms. So, for instance, Caterpillar, which is, they have a headquarters near to Derby, but they have other parts of the country. They employ a lot of people. They have big links with Germany. And I have had students that I've taught in the past who have got onto apprenticeships at Caterpillar just because they did German. Okay, that's just an example. Deutsch ist mehr als eine Sprache. Es bedeutet großen Firmen wie BMW, Bosch oder Siemens und eine Welt von Kultur, beispielsweise Literatur von Goethe bis Kafka oder Musik von Beethoven bis Rammstein. So there's lots of different cultural parts of learning German to do with whether it's companies or tourism or literature or music. Art, there's so many different reasons why German is interesting. Okay, really important for science. A lot of the world's scientists have either come from or studied studies in German-speaking countries. There's a lot of links with science. So even if you are going to go into medicine, for instance, there's a lot of links with German words to do with who has discovered certain illnesses and stuff. And probably the most valid and interesting thing for this year is the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccination against COVID that was developed in Germany. Okay, so that is an important reason to learn German. Deutsch verbessert deine Chancen auf die Uni zu gehen. So there are lots of reasons why German is a good thing to have. One of the reasons is because it's really makes it a lot easier for you to get a job later in life. That is just one reason. But if you look at this list, these are different subjects and how much unemployment. And if you look at languages, and German in particular, it looks very few people who study German end up unemployed because they are very much wanted, okay, in the workplace. So those are really important things to take into consideration. Sixth form students that we've had over the years have talked about how it gives them a competitive edge. It's certainly very useful for employers, for applying for jobs and for applying for university. Okay. Being successful at another language shows good communication skills. We'll talk about why employers like German so much in a minute. It isn't about using German in your job. It's just about the communication skills and the confidence that it brings when you learn a language. Okay, so here we are. Employers say they value the key skills developed by language learners, and these include communication skills, team-working skills, interpersonal skills, getting on with other people, presentation skills, problem-solving skills, organisational skills, and good learning strategies. Okay? So there's a lot of different things there that are useful for pretty much any type of job. I mean, being able to communicate with somebody else in a confident way in English, this doesn't mean you're going to be doing it in German, is an absolutely massive part of most jobs. Okay, so another reason why we might be interested in learning German, particularly as a language, is that German and English have very big links. They're both Germanic languages at root, okay? So the Anglo-Saxons, they came and conquered these shores a long time ago, and they were from Germany. And because they were here for a while, they influenced the development of our language. So German shares many of the same words, word origins, and grammar characteristics as English. And that makes German a good choice for English speakers. A lot of people find the pronunciation of German, for instance, a bit easier than some other foreign languages. Okay, another reason, tourism. I've taught a lot of students over the years who have ended up working in tourism, whether they've been working on aeroplanes as cabin crew or actually as tourist guides in different countries. And whether they were in Germany or not, they still found that their German helped them get those jobs, and they did use them. Another good reason is that when you go on holiday, whether you're in this country or abroad anywhere, sort of you might go to Greece, you might go to Spain, you will meet lots of German people because they'll be on holiday too. And it's nice then to be able to communicate with them and say hello. For me, I've just gone through so many different reasons why you should learn German, but for me it's because it is fun. I just enjoyed it so much. It was always my favourite subject. It was always the subject that was challenging, so I didn't find it easy, but I just found it was so wonderful when I actually understood things and I could understand people and I could listen in to people's conversations, and it just gave me that little buzz about learning that I didn't actually get from any other subject. And I found that those students who I've taken on to do A-level over the years have been very, very similar. Okay, so they've had the same kind of feeling about German that I have, that it's such an exciting thing to be able to speak another language. Okay, whether you need it or not, it's just a really brilliant achievement. Okay. As far as if you're thinking about your ability in German at the moment, in Year 9, I don't think that is the biggest sort of priority of consideration at all. In the past, I've worked in schools that have only started in Year 10, and I've taught students who didn't know any German at the beginning of Year 10, not a word, and very many of those did really well at GCSE and went on to A-level as well. Okay, so however confident you are currently with your German, I don't think that is the main consideration. I think you've got to think about how much you would get out of it, both personally and later on in your life when you're looking at careers and things like that. Okay? Right, so another good thing about German is it's all about social activity. It's all about talking to people. It will allow you to meet more people when you're older, possibly. It might open up new corridors of travel for you. People sometimes, if they're working in a company, if something happens like a meeting or a conference in Germany or Austria, if they are the person who has a little bit of German, then they might be the one that gets sent out to go on those conferences, which is a nice thing to be able to do. Things that you find about yourself, it is a challenge. It's not really easy, but it really helps develop yourself and helps you understand other people. For me, tolerance and understanding are the most important skills that we can have. And the more you find out about how other people live, you can become more understanding and tolerant towards people around the world. And I think that that is really, really, really important. Okay, so that is another fantastic reason to learn German. Okay. Just meeting people from different cultures, knowing what they eat, knowing what music they like, knowing what films they watch. We've looked in Year 9 in recent times at how different the school systems are, for instance, between the UK and Germany. And there are so many differences, but that is a really fantastic reason why doing a language is so much more than just learning some words and putting them together and answering questions. It's all about finding how other people live and, developing your opinions about that as well. And I think it's really nice to compare different countries like that. Okay, so we have a course that has no coursework. It's done by exam. And because it's 25% reading, 25% listening, 25% speaking, and 25% writing, you will find that your lessons are not spent just writing all the time. There's a lot of other things going on in every lesson, so we try and practice all of the skills equally, really. And that means that the writing element is almost a little bit less than some other subjects. Okay. We've got different themes here. So Thema 1, Familie und Freunde, Hobbys, Technologie, Feste. Then we've got Thema 2, Wo ich wohne, die Umwelt, Gesundheit, soziale und globale Sachen und Urlaub. Und Thema 3, die Schule, Zukunftspläne und Jobs und Berufe. Okay, so we've got lots of different things there. Some things we've already covered a little bit, and some things you will cover during Year 10 and 11. Okay, so those are all the different topics. There's quite a lot of stuff happening in there. There's some really interesting topics on there, and lots of opportunity for you to give your opinions and to find out more about Germany as we go along. So if you would like more information about choosing German, then one thing you could do is you could ask me, Mrs. Burrows, or Miss Gould, or Mr. Heaton. Okay. Obviously, we will answer any questions that you might have. So contact us if you would have anything else that you would like to ask. We've got some recommended reading or course textbooks if anyone is interested in that. It's not something you have to do, but if that would help, you could maybe look online to see what they look like. So Stimmt AQA German course textbook we use, and the Pearson Revise revision guide and workbook are really, really useful for the course. Okay. So overall, there are lots of reasons why choosing German is wonderful. It is fun. It is a challenge. And the lessons are always very different from each other. There are lots of different things that we do. We have lots of different activities. You can work in pairs, you can work in groups, there's some independent work, there's some research. But for me, the main reason why learning German is so exciting is that challenge and the feeling of being able to understand people and to be able to communicate with people who you would normally have never met. You don't know what your future is going to be like. You don't know who you will meet, who you want to be friends with. And those people might not speak the same language as you. So if you can speak German, then that opens up so many new worlds for you. and the country and the people are wonderful to visit as well. Okay, and Switzerland and Austria and all these other countries as well, it makes them a lot easier for you to engage with. Deutsch ist fantastisch, so denke ich. I love German. It has always been my favourite subject, back from when I first started learning it, and I started in year 8. And I just hope that some of you have the same passion about it that I do, because it is a brilliant thing to be able to do. And we just need more people in this country who can speak German, but on the other hand, just do it for fun, because that's the main reason, I believe. Okay, thanks for listening, and good luck with your choices. Okay, tschüss, auf Wiedersehen.